Hi guys, in the last lecture we see what is internal JavaScript. Now in this lecture we learn about how to access elements in JavaScript. So first I get rid of these functions here and also bracket here and save it and refresh. Now this is press me. I wanted to simple comment out. Commenting is very useful when you not print anything, but for your understanding you use in your code. So if I save it and reload, so now you see our button is now not showing because we do it in comment. Comment is are very useful if you write a 10,000 or many lines of codes and you want to remember your code blocks. Means this is first block is for function, the second block is for another thing. For this we use commenting. That is very helpful for long projects. So first I want to add here some paragraph and I write here hello hello world. Now I want to use here ID for accessing element. ID is very necessary and very useful in JavaScript. They are more widely used in JavaScript for accessing elements and many other things. So first paragraph I write here ID and I want here ID to para. A simple ID name para here and if I refresh now you see our text is here with para ID. For accessing element, we write here in JavaScript first document dot get element by ID. This is used for to get element ID from this document file. We use here dot get element by ID and the ID name we use in double quotation that para. If I copy and paste it here dot. Now we use inner HTML. Inner HTML is used for to change the text in this browser. So I write here dot inner HTML is equal to now I want to change hello world to learn with easy text. We use here semicolon that is optional. If you not use that's not getting error, but I recommend you to use semicolon. That is the best way. If I save it and reload, nothing has happened because we have HTML all in capital letters. Save it and reload. Why this is not happened? Dot para. Okay, 1 minute. Get element by ID. Para here dot inner HTML is equal to if I use here small ID then what's happened? Okay, that's I use here ID and D is small. Now I want to tell you what does that means. First, I will make a paragraph and the paragraph ID is para. And in paragraph, I write here hello world. Now, in JavaScript, internal JavaScript, I want to use here document. Document means this HTML document because it access elements from HTML. That is why we use here document. And in top, you see here document HTML. We mention here document HTML. That is why I use here document. That means it access elements from HTML document. Then we use here dot get element by ID. That is the function that is used for to get ID and to get ID text. Now I use here ID para. I write here in double quotations para that access our hello world HTML with using ID that access our paragraph or text here. Now I want to show it in this paragraph in this browser body. For this I use here dot inner HTML. that is used for to change the text in the browser body that you see here. So if I save it and reload, that is learn with easy, because if I do comment out this and save it and reload, so now you see this is hello world. Now if I open the comment and save it, now this our text is changed according to this. So if I reload it, now you see here learn with easy automatically prints, because we do not have use any specific things when we click or anything. We just use a code here, because when it's loading, our text is changed to learn with easy. Now we change text with button, because when we click on some button, it's change the text. For this, I simple open these comments of button, and now for this I simple read this inline javascripts, and I also id here simple button or my button. I simple id here my button and press me. I write here click me to change text. Save it. I simple comment out this and save it and reload. So now you see our hello world text is here, and the click me to change the text. If I click on it, nothing has happened because we do not have any JavaScript still. So for this, I simply delete out this. Now I want to add some functions on this button in JavaScript, because when I click on it, this text changes according to our own text. So click me to change text. I write here some document same, because this is used for accessing elements or changing any elements with id. I write here document dot get element by id and the id name. Now I want to change the id of my button, because we want to access this my button id to access this button. Now I use here on click function. I use here on click, and after this I write here function, and in functions I have some code. Now what does this line means? This access element from document and the get elements by id, that's id is my button has this id. Now it access our this button, but after access what we want for this, we use our own click function, because it access the buttons, and if buttons is click, then what functions will be on. Do not about functions, we talk about letters in very details. So in functions, after the function blocks, I write here document dot get element by id. Now I want to access our para id, because we want to change the text of para. Dot inner html, and I use here is equal to learn with easy. I simply delete this first quotation, because this is. Now if I save it and reload, if you click on click me to change text, nothing has happened. Oh, that's why I write here HTML, that is capital. Save it and reload. If I click on click me to change text, why nothing has happened? Okay, let me check. Oh, on click I have small c. That is why that not changed. Save it. Now if I click on it, if I reload it and after I click on it, you see here text is changed when I click on it. Click me to change text. Now this is learn with easy. If I reload it, it's hello world, and if I click on click me to change text, now this is learn with easy. You write anything. If I write here hello easy, save it and reload. Now this is hello world. If I click on change text, this is hello easy. So I summarize it for you. First, we write here paragraph with ID of para, hello world. Second, I have a button with ID of my buttons, that is click me to change text. Now in JavaScript, I have some first a DOM manipulation. I write here document dot get element by ID my button. First we access my buttons, and after the access we have dot on click functions, because when this is on clicks, what happened? So after on click we have a function. In functions we have these braces, and after this we have document dot get element by ID of para, because we want to change the text of para. When someone clicks on buttons, it's go to these functions here inside of it, and this have access para id of text, and in para id of text I want to change it to in the browser body. So I write here dot inner html, and the text I want hello easy, and this is now happens. If I click on it, so you see hello easy is here. So that is how we access the elements from HTML in JavaScript. That also calls a DOM manipulation, document object model. That is a very important to learn about this. So here we end this lecture. Please like the video and subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.